Hello and welcome to Artemis IAS. I am Aniket Singh, and today in the Indian Express Explained series, we are having five articles that we'll be dealing. So, without wasting any further time, let's get started. So, today we have five articles. Number one is extra long staple of cotton. It is a variety of cotton with fiber length of more than 30 millimeters. It is used for producing very high quality of fabrics. So, this is number one article. It is related to agriculture and GS3 paper. Number two is Trump, Musk, and US aid, right? So, this is the second article. US aid, established in 1961, has played a central role in spreading American influence abroad, but the agency is now a victim of Trump administration's bid to rehaul the federal government. This is the second article. Third article is about fentanyl. If you remember, we have studied these topics also, especially this, the narcotic and drug cases, in the previous Indian Express analysis. So, fentanyl behind US tariffs on Mexico and China. We have detailed coverage of this topic. Number four is why scientists are monitoring asteroid with only 1% chance of hitting Earth. This is the fourth article. And the fifth article is about genetics behind how bitter one finds coffee. There's a study that says that there is some genetics in your body which determines how you will be feeling the taste of coffee. For example, if my genes are making me feel that coffee is not that bitter, so I'll not be feeling coffee. I'll not be feeling that coffee is much bitter. But if your genes allow, then you will feel the coffee taste in the bitter, right? So let's get started with the detailed analysis. The first is extra long staple ELS. It is a kind of cotton enhancing India's self-sufficiency in premium cotton production. Now, the word premium is being associated with everything to make it more costly, right? To make it more costly in the world market. So, from the time of globalization, the word premium has been attached to various things. The context is that India is a major cotton producer. The word cotton, the word cotton has been taken from the Sanskrit word karpas, right? So, cotton, in the production of cotton, India has been uh, the first producer of cotton worldwide in the from the ancient times. So, India is a major cotton producer, but still its import 20 to 25% of its ELS cotton, that is extra long staple cotton. We are not producing that much. We are importing 20 to 25% of our needs for high quality textiles. The government's proposal in the union budget aims to boost indigenous ELS cotton production. Now, the budget that has came in for this year, it is talking about to boost the indigenous extra long staple cotton production, to enhance farmers' income, and to reduce import dependency. Every country of this world today is trying to reduce its import dependency on various things, right? To gain its strategic autonomy. What to gain? To gain its strategic autonomy. Right? Now, what are some key features of the ELS cotton? ELS means extra long staple. So definition is that a variety of cotton, obviously it is a variety of cotton with fiber length of more than 30 millimeters. So from here, questions from the this topic can come in your pre-examination. For example, there might be a statement, extra long staple cotton, the fiber length is more than 60 millimeter. So that would be wrong. You have to keep this in mind. The fiber length is more than 30 millimeter, used for premium textiles, more important, like high thread count fabrics. So high thread count, what does that mean? The thread count, the this is the thread count. The thread count is higher. Higher the thread count, the more the premium the quality is, right? So it is a variety of cotton with fiber length of more than 30 millimeters. Now, who are the global leaders? The global producer are Egypt, USA, China, and Israel dominate ELS cotton production. These countries, Egypt, US, China, and Israel, dominate the production of extra long staple cotton production. What is the Indian scenario? Limited ELS cotton cultivation due to climatic requirements. So we are not that much able to produce to meet the demand of the ELS cotton which we need today because of the climatic requirement. Pest susceptibility, number one problem in Indian agriculture, especially in the cash crop, is pest susceptibility. What is a cash crop? Cash crop is a crop which is not consumed by the farmer itself, and more than 75% is sold. More than 75% is sold by the farmer, right? So it is a cash crop. India is not able to produce that much quality, that much quantity because of the climatic requirements, pest susceptibility, and lack of high yield variety. We are not having the high yield variety of seeds of ELS cotton. Now, what does the government has initiated? Government initiatives in the budget of 2025 includes enhancing productivity, so research and development to improve the yield, promoting domestic cultivation, encouraging Indian farmers to switch to ELS varieties, right? We are encouraging our farmers that you should switch to the ELS variety. Then how can we get the self sufficiency? If we get the self sufficiency, we'll be reducing dependence on imports and boosting textile industry. Most important, the overall um, shift of Indian economy from the agriculture sector directly toward the service sector has hit the job production. It is not, the country as a whole is not able to maintain its employment level. So for that we have to boost our manufacturing sector also. How can we boost our manufacturing sector? By self sufficiency. One of the factors is that by being self sufficient in producing the ELS, extra long staple cotton, so that we will be able to reduce the dependency on imports and will be boosting the textile industry for India, right? So now what are the challenges in ELS cotton production in India? Most important, climate sensitivity. So you have to remember these things. It needs warm and dry condition with proper irrigation, right? Keep this in mind. It can be asked in your pre-examination, especially in agriculture and science and tech part. It needs warm and dry condition, and the irrigation must be proper. Pest infestation, high vulnerability to bullworms, and it affects yield. Bullworm is a kind of a pest, right? And it affects the yield. Now, uh, BT cotton. It is a kind of cotton which has the genes of Bacillus thuringiens. It is a gene, it has a terminator gene, right? It has a terminator gene which helps in killing the pest, right? Keep this in mind. Now, the water requirement, high water consumption, making it unsustainable in some regions. For example, in Maharashtra and Karnataka region, the water availability is low and we are not able to produce it. Then low farmer awareness. Farmers lack knowledge about best practices for ELS cultivation. Our farmers are not that much aware. Competition from imports. Imported ELS cotton is often cheaper and superior quality. Now, the imported ELS cotton from the Egypt, US, China, and Israel is comparatively cheaper than the ELS variety that we are growing. So these are some challenges. Now, relevance is GS paper 3 in the crop diversification, government policies and role of biotechnology in cotton production, textile industry, import substitution, impact on trade balance, right? And then second article is about Trump and Musk and US aid, the changing landscape of the US foreign aid. So US aid, you have to keep this in mind. It stands for United States Agency for International Development. Now, the day Mr. Trump has taken charge as the president of the United States, he has withdrawn from WHO, Paris Agreement. Why? Because he's saying that why to waste our money on such institutions which are biased towards the US and the developed world. So he's saying that we are not going to pay for someone else. That is not helping US, right? So US aid, United States Agency for International Development. So obvious that Trump is not going to support that. Now, USAID was established in 1961, which plays a crucial role in global development assistance, including disaster relief, poverty eradication, and governance support. Right? So, now what the Trump Musk influence is that former President Donald Trump and billionaire Elon Musk have criticized USAID from time being, right? For excessive spending and deep state bureaucracy, leading to potential funding cost cuts, right? So now let's see understanding the US AIDS role. So health program, $10.6 billion, right? Humanitarian assistance $11.4 billion, economic development 5.8, democracy and governance 2.9, education 1.4, environment and climate 1.9, total 43.4 billion for the financial year 2023. He's saying that this is such a huge money. Why to waste our money on someone else? Now, who are some key beneficiaries? So US aid operates in 130 plus countries focusing on Africa, Latin America, and South Asia. These regions will be severely impacted due to the funding crunch. Now, what's the India's perspective? US aid has supported initiatives in poverty alleviation in India, health, especially in polio eradication, and climate resilience, right? Now, Trump and Musk's opposition to US aid, what they are saying, reducing government spending. They are arguing that US aid funds should be redirected to domestic priorities. He's saying that America first policy. We have to spend in America only, and we are not going to spend for someone else. Deep state concerns. What is deep state? So, allegations that bureaucracies like US aid operate without full government oversight. Deep state theory is a theory which says that there is a government which runs parallel to the legitimate government. They are not saying that this is illegitimate, but it runs kind of it runs as a kind of a parallel government and a shadow government, right? So deep state concerns are there. Now, shifting foreign policy. So emphasis on bilateral trade deals over traditional aid mechanism. They are saying that we are going for bilateral trade, right? And not we are going to just give aid for everyone. If we have some, economic concessions, if we have some economic concerns, then we are going to give you the aid, not directly. So, what are some geopolitical implications for India? Potential funding cuts could impact joint development projects in health and climate resilience, severely impacted. For Global South, reduced US aid present might create a vacuum for China's Belt and Road Initiative to expand influence. Now, the China will be working again on a huge scale for its BRI initiative, that is China's Belt and Road Initiative. So, right. Now, the third article is about fentanyl crisis behind US tariffs on Mexico and China. Right? Let's see. Fentanyl, it's a highly potent synthetic opioid. It is a opioid 50 to 100 times stronger than morphine, fueling the opioid crisis in US. So in previous articles we have talked about how the painkillers which are being abused in USA, especially the fentanyl and morphine. And fentanyl is more than 50 to 100 times stronger than morphine. So people are abusing the painkillers, and it is fueling the opioid crisis in the US. Trade policy response. US imposed tariffs on China and Mexico, alleging that these countries enable fentanyl production and trafficking. USA is directly alleging that China and Mexico, they are trafficking fentanyl into the US borders. Now, let's understand the fentanyl problem. Addiction crisis, 100,000 plus deaths annually in the US. More than 1 lakh people are dying annually in the USA. Supply chain, so raw material from China and production in Mexico, and they are being trafficked into the US. So this is the US's stance. Smuggling routes are Mexican cartels use border, tunnel, and postal services. Right? Now, why is the US targeting Mexico and China openly? So China's role, USA is saying that major supplier of precursor chemicals for fentanyl, they are supplying the chemicals to make fentanyl, and fentanyl is being produced in Mexico, and then from the tunnels and border tunnels and postal services, Mexico is trafficking into the US. So they are saying that China and Mexico has a joint role in these trafficking. Now Mexico's role is that cartel is a group process that chemicals into fentanyl and traffic that into the USA. Now economic pressure strategy. US is using trade restrictions to force stricter regulation in these countries. So now what does USA is doing? imposing 25% tariffs, declaring emergencies on Canada and Mexico border. So this is the US counter attack. Now, the global repercussion is that Mexico and China trade tension. So Mexico may align more with China as a reaction to US sanctions. So Mexico will be parting towards China. Impact on India. India is a major pharmaceutical hub and it could face increased US scrutiny on export of precursor chemicals. So now USA will be being more strict towards India also because India is a world's pharmacy and will be facing increased US scrutiny on the export for the chemicals which we are going to supply to them. Now, the fourth article is about monitoring an asteroid with 1% chance of hitting Earth. There is an asteroid which has only meager 1% of chance to hit the Earth. Now, scientists, why they are, monitoring it? So, scientists are monitoring an asteroid that has a 1% chance of impacting Earth, right? Planetary different strategies, tracking and mitigation plans are being discussed by NASA, ISRO, European Space Agency, and other space agencies. So these global agencies are monitoring it and thinking to mitigate how to mitigate if that 1% chance becomes true. Now, what are some past events? So Chicxulub was an asteroid which destroyed dinosaur, right? So it hit the earth and dinosaurs became extinct, right? Near earth object, NEOs, these asteroid monitors for potential collision. Mitigation methods, what are some mitigation methods? So kinetic impactors and gravity tractors. What does gravity tractors do? They deflect these heavy asteroids from the path, so they are not going to impact the earth and collide with us, right? So some possible global response is that early detection systems. We are making some early detection systems. Expansion of NEO surveillance networks. So near Earth object surveillance is being, you know, uh, becoming more stricter. Deflection missions like DART mission to alter asteroid trajectories are into, more research now. International collaboration, role of UN Office for Outer Space Affairs in a disaster preparedness. So we are working on these things. Now, last article is about why scientists are studying the genetics behind bitter coffee sensitivity. So, scientists have conducted a genetic study to understand why some people are more sensitive to bitter taste of coffee. As I told you earlier, ki I can say that this coffee is more bitter, and you can say that this is just normal. So, this is the difference between our genes. So, research suggests that variations in taste receptor genes TAS to our family. It is present on our tongue. It influences individuals' preferences for coffee and other bitter fruits. This study has implications for human evolution, nutrition, and public health. So, in English movies, you have seen that people are more towards drinking black coffee. But as an Indian, as an Indian, I do not like the taste of black coffee, and I think that how can they, how are they, even tasting this type of coffee without milk and without sugar? So this might be some variations. Now, what are the some key scientific findings? So genetic influence on taste perception. The bitter taste perception is linked to variations in TAS2R38 genes, the taste receptor genes. So people with certain genetic markers are more sensitive to caffeine and quinine bitter compounds. So evolutionary adaptation, historically bitter taste was a survival mechanism to detect toxins in plant. So if at the in the ancient times when we were humanoid and we were evolving, so that bitter taste was a sign that there is some poison or toxic material in the plant, right? So it was a survival mechanism. However, cultural habits like coffee drinking, this has override genetic aversion in many populations. So as an Indian, I like sweets much more than the bitter taste. So my ancient instincts are much more, preserved. But some people in the West countries, the cultural habits have changed, like drinking coffee. So it override genetic aversion in many populations, such as in the Western countries. Now, what are some impact on coffee consumption patterns? Those with higher bitter sensitivity, ironically, drink more coffee, like me. I have high beta sensitivity, but I like to mimic the Western culture, so I drink more coffee because I associate bitterness with caffeine's turbulent effect. I see that if it is more bitter, then it will have a more potent caffeine, and I will be feeling more energetic. But that is wrong. It is just in your mind. Health implications. So genetic predisposition to bitter taste may affect dietary choices, metabolism, and disease risk. It may cause diseases to me. So it could explain why some people prefer tea or sweetened drinks. This is me. Sweetened drink over black coffee, right? So I hope you got the point. So I hope the people from the South India and the non-Hindi speaking states will find this video engaging and helpful in their studies. And if you want this PDF, you can go to our Telegram group and download this PDF. You can highlight it, you can add it to your notes, right? The link for the group is in our description box. And if you like this video, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Thank you.